So, welcome you all for the next section of this complete list of questioning. Where here I'll be dealing with the steps after the first step 1, 2, 3 are being covered in the previous lecture. So I'll be starting with the step 4. As far as I'll just recall with the steps. Right. Collection of necessary data we dealt in the last class. Calculate the target strength and then selection of mixed proportions among them water cement ratio. How to select water cement ratio that we studied. Okay, so we'll proceed with the step 4, that is selection of mixed proportions, that is estimation of air content. Okay. So we'll proceed with the step 4, selection of mixed proportions, estimation of air content. Basically, the approximate value of entrapped air is supposed to be considered while dealing with the mixed proportion, because even this is going to be one of the air is going to be one of the part in the concrete somehow, because it just gets entrapped into concrete. Okay? So it is entrapped, entrained is different and entrapped is different. Here we will be dealing with the entrapped air content, and this generally depends on size of the aggregate, whereas for 10 mm size of the force aggregate, your approximate entrapped air percentage is 1.5. For 20 mm down, it is 1, and 40, it is 0.8. If you could look at this, as and when the size of the aggregate is increasing, your entrapped air content is decreasing, because more the size, less is the size of the aggregate, more is the specific surface of the aggregate. More the specific surface, more is the chance for the entrapped air into the concrete. Okay, and at the same time, the IS code never forgets to mention this. If you have actual values of air content, that can be adopted in your mixed proportioning. If and if only like 5 results you should have for the air content, then that value, average of that value, can be used in the concrete mixed proportioning. If not, we're supposed to follow with this table 3 of IS 10262, where it has mentioned you the percentage of entrapped air depending upon the sizes of this aggregates. That is step 4. We're just supposed to note down the percentage of air content in the concrete, which is based on the size of the aggregate. Okay, this we will use in some calculations later. So once we mark this entrapped air, once we get the value of this entrapped air, next step is selection of mixed proportions, that is water content and then admixture. Okay, in step 3, we have got water cement ratio. Now it's about calculation of the water content. See, all the ingredients what we are calculating in a mixed proportioning is for 1 cubic meter of the concrete. Okay, for volume of 1 cubic meter, what all ingredients we should use, that we will be calculating. So now I'll proceed with this water content. The water content of concrete is influenced by many of the factors like aggregate size, aggregate shape, aggregate texture, workability. It is also dependent on water cement ratio, the cement and other supplemental cementitious materials. There are many reasons where and why the water content may change. Okay, just I try to list down the water content here, and of course with the admixture. The quantity of mixing water per unit volume is 1 cubic meter of concrete, may be determined from table number 4 of IS 10262. The water content in table 4 is for angular coarse aggregate and for the slump of 50 mm. There are different types of aggregates. The mentioned value, the standard value of table 4 is for nominal maximum size of aggregate for 10, 20, 40 mm, and where they consider it as for angular coarse aggregates and for 50 mm slump. If my aggregate is angular coarse aggregate and if my required slump is 50 mm, I should use this value given in table number 4. Okay, table number 4 title is water content per cubic meter of concrete for nominal maximum size of aggregate. If I have 10 mm size of coarse aggregate, then my water content is 208 kg per cubic meter. If I have 20 down size of aggregate, then I am supposed to use 186 kg of water. Of course, now when I'm talking with the water, it is kg or in liters. Preferably we use kg. 186 kg per cubic meter of concrete. And if I'm going with a maximum size that is 40 of aggregate, then I'm supposed to use 165 cubic meter of the aggregate. And now one condition is this water is for saturated surface dry condition. I hope you know, if you recall your some terminologies in the basic material testing laboratory, you had a saturated surface dry condition of the aggregate bed. Okay, in that condition, we are supposed to use this value. If it is not in SSD condition, then we have to make some alterations in this aggregate. What type of alterations and how to do that we will discuss later. Okay, so now based on size of the aggregate, my water content is changing. Say if I'm using 20 size of the aggregate as a nominal size, then I'm supposed to use 186 kg per cubic meter of the water. Now again, I'll just recall the water content in table 2 is for angular force aggregate, and for a slump of in general value, if I want a slump around 25 to 50 then I have to use that value which is given in which is given in this table number 4. If not, because there are different types of aggregates what we can use. Okay, angular force aggregate is one type. Next type is subangular aggregate, subangular, and then gravel with some crushed particles, and then rounded gravel. Okay, see if you could recall this, they are the types of the aggregates, and based on type of the aggregate, your slump is going to change. More the rounded the aggregate is, more is the slump. Okay, in that case, I can reduce my water content. So please remember here, angular is totally, I have some angles in my aggregate like flaky or elongated aggregate. Okay, there is more friction between them, so I get lesser slump. Subangular is some reduction in the angle. Then comes a gravel. Okay, gravel is with some crushed particles, so it is much more rounder, and then directly comes to a rounded aggregate. With this, I can reduce my water content. These are the, see, this table is not given. Whatever the table in the blue color here I have, whatever you were seeing now, this is not given. I have just made a tabular column out of the data from IS 10262. If I have subangular aggregates, I'm supposed to reduce the water content by 10 kg. Say if I'm using gravel with some crushed aggregates, then what happens is for 20 nominal size, it is 186, and what I am using is gravel with some crushed particles. It means it is much more rounder than the angular. So what I can do is I can reduce my water content to get the same amount of slump. How much water content I can reduce is 15 kg. So it was 186 minus 15, that is 176, and then 171. So 171 kg per cubic meter is going to be my water content. And this is for slump around 50 Similarly, if I have much more rounded aggregate, I can still further reduce my water content to 20 kg per cubic meter to get this slump of 50 approximately. Okay. If there is a next condition, this table is for type of the aggregate. Next, what I have is for the slump. Generally, my slump value it depends on the placing conditions, where my slump value may be from 0 slump to 150 slump. What the IS code has given is the table number 4, and this is being standardized for slump of 50 What if I want to have a concrete of slump different other than 50 and then I'm supposed to make few more corrections. This is again the tabular column which is being written out of the wordings given from IS 10262. So what is being standardized here is, if I want a slump, if I want a workability of around a slump of 50 then I'm supposed to use the value which is given in table number 4. Okay, if I want more slump than like say 75 what does the statement says is, for every 25 increase in the slump, you should increase the water content by 3%. That is the statement given in IS 10262. So if I want 75 mm of the slump, then I have to increase my water by 3% of the value in table number 4. If I want 100 mm, I have to increase it by 6%. If I want 125 mm, I have to increase it by 9%. It continues like this. If I want 150, I have to increase it by 12%. So what does the IS code says is, for every 25 mm increase in the slump, we are supposed to increase water content by 3%. Similarly, if I want less slump, what does it say is, for every slump of less than 25 mm, I'm supposed to reduce the water content by 3%. So if I want a slump of 25 mm, I should reduce it by 3%. If I want a slump of 0, then I should reduce it by 6%. Okay, that's how we need to make these corrections. And then if we add admixtures, basically we're supposed to think of these admixtures: plasticizers, which are called as water reducers, and super plasticizers, which are called as high range water reducers. So if I'm using only plasticizer, we can reduce the water content up to 5 to 10%, whereas if I'm using super plasticizer, we can reduce the water content up to 20 to 30%. This value generally depends on the experience. Okay, as while solving, as you people, students being amateur, you can use this highest value, or any of the convenient value in the range of 5 to 10 and 20 to 30%. Okay, so that's how we can still reduce. So if we are using plasticizers and super plasticizers, it means we can reduce the water content. Okay, so reduce it by 5 to 10% or by 20 to 30%. So once we have got this water content, then what we have to do is we have to calculate the cement content. The step 6 is a selection of mixed proportions. Now I'm talking of calculation of cement and cementitious material here. See, what we got in step 3 is water cement ratio. If you could recall, if we go back to step 3, we got water cement ratio. And if you go back to step 5, we got water content in kg per cubic meter. Now I want cement. Okay, we have this formula. Water cement ratio is, it is water divided by cement. Therefore, cement is equals to water divided by water cement ratio. So I know the water content and I know the water cement ratio. With this, I can calculate the cement, that is in kg per cubic meter. Okay. Now, if at all, if I'm using mineral admixture, preferably I'm supposed to increase this cement content again by 10%. Now, whatever the value I get here, say if I'm having this value as 150 kg per cubic, sorry, around 300 kg per cubic meter, then I have to, if that is for cement. If I am replacing cement like fly ash, then what I have to do is, this is just given in IS code. You can follow this or you need not follow this. If I'm going with the fly ash, then I'm supposed to increase the cement content by 10%. So if my cement happens to be 300 kg, now if I'm going with fly ash, then my total cementitious material is supposed to be 330 kg per cubic meter, because I'm supposed to increase it by 10%. Why is this so? Because see, fly ash, GGBS, those mineral admixtures, they are the byproducts of some industry. Okay, we don't have control over the chemical composition of those byproducts. We don't have any control over this. However, we get it from the industry, that we may have to use it in the, say, production of the concrete base. So in this regard, we may have to increase the cementitious material by 10%. Nothing other than that is the reason. Okay, so once we have this water cementitious materials ratio is supposed to be recalculated. I had water, now my cementitious material is being changed because I have increased it by 10%. Then you have to recalculate the water cement ratio, then check this value with the permissible value of the table number 5 of IS456. Okay, so this is this you need to check it for the durability. Okay, and then of course you should also check your maximum cement content. You should check the maximum cement content and you should check the permissible water cement ratio, the maximum free water cement ratio. If they are as per your IS456, you can proceed with the same value for the further calculations. Next, step 7 is selection of mixed proportions. That is estimation of coarse aggregate proportion. Here we are only calculating the coarse aggregate proportion. Okay, basically it all depends on the type of the size of the coarse aggregate, that is 10 mm, 20 mm, and 40 mm. And at the same time, I should have the sieve analysis record of the fine aggregate. So fine aggregate can be categorized into zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 aggregates based on IS 383 here. You might have studied in your BMC lab. Okay, so depending upon, I should know what is the zone of the fine aggregate, and looking at the size of coarse aggregate, say I am using zone 2 aggregate and my coarse aggregate size is 20 mm, then my volume of coarse aggregate is 0.62. Look at the table title. I am getting the volume of coarse aggregate per unit volume of total aggregate. Okay, so for 20 mm, if my zone of fine aggregate is 2, zone 2, then the volume of coarse aggregate becomes 0.62. So I should use this value. This I can write it as VC, that is volume of coarse aggregate, that is equals to 0.62. I need to record this, and further I need to go with the calculations. Okay. Next, what does this IS 10262 says is approximate values for this aggregate volume are given in table 5. This is your table 5 of IS 10262. Approximate values they are given. Okay, are given in table 5 for a water cement or water cementitious materials ratio of 0.5. This table is supposed to be used for water cement ratio of 0.5. If I am adopting any other water cement ratio than 0.5, maybe 0.45, 0.4, in between the values. Okay, generally it happens so. I cannot use always 0.5 as my water cement ratio. Okay, so if I am using any other water cement ratio than the 0.5, I need to make these corrections. I need to make the correction. This is the statement given in IS 10262. I'll just show the same statement in the form of a tabular column. Okay, so the table number 5 of 10262 is standardized for water cement ratio of 0.5. If my water cement ratio is 0.5, I can use the value which is directly given in my code in table 5. If my water cement ratio is 0.55, that is if it is there is a change, if it is increase in 0.05, then what I have to do is I have to decrease my coarse aggregate by 0.01. For every change of increase in 0.05 of water cement ratio, we have to decrease the volume of coarse aggregate by 0.01. So when it comes to 0.6, I am supposed to decrease it by 0.02. Similarly, if my water cement ratio is 0.45, then I have to increase volume of coarse aggregate by 0.01. If it is 0.40, I have to increase it by 0.02. Okay, now there is another question you may ask. What if my water cement ratio is in between like 0.5 and 0.45? Say I am adopting 0.47, then which value I have to use? What you can do is you can preferably go with the interpolation, okay, or else you can round off the value and you can use the nearest percentage of volume of coarse aggregate. Okay, my suggestion is it's better you go with the interpolation, or else 0.47, if you round it off it may be nearer to 0.45, so you can do it this way. Okay. Step 8 is mixed calculations. Once we have all this data which is being recorded previously from step 2 to step 7, then comes our mixed calculations. Now whatever the formula I am showing you, these are all the formulae mentioned in IS 10262. You need not remember this. Only thing is you need to put the values and you have to calculate this. Okay, I'll just read out. The mixed calculations for unit volume of concrete shall be as follows. What is my total volume? I'm giving the mixed proportion for 1 cubic meter. So volume of entrapped air, it's around 0.0, it's approximate value what I have written, or otherwise I'm supposed to refer the table for this entrapped air. Then volume of cement is equals to mass of cement by specific gravity into 1 by 1000. Mass of the cement will be known to us. Specific gravity of cement will be known to us. We should know that. Then we will get the volume of cement. Similarly, volume of fly ash, it is mass of fly ash divided by specific gravity into 1 by 1000. Similarly, volume of water will be mass of water divided by specific gravity into 1 by 1000. So remember this A, B, C, D, E. Next, F, volume of chemical admixtures, that is mass of a chemical admixture divided by specific gravity of admixture into 1 by 1000. Then volume of all in aggregates, volume of all in aggregate is A minus B minus of C plus D plus E plus F. What are these A, B, C, D, E, F? Here they are being mentioned. They are being mentioned here, the same values. With this, I will be getting volume of all in aggregate, that is G. Okay. Then mass of coarse aggregate will be this G into volume of coarse aggregate multiplied by specific gravity of coarse aggregate into 1000. Similarly, mass of fine aggregate will be G into volume of fine aggregate. What will be volume of fine aggregate? See, once I have volume of coarse aggregate in the previous step, 1 minus volume of coarse aggregate will be my volume of fine aggregate. Okay. So this becomes, from this you will get mass of the fine aggregate. Once you have all these calculations, you're supposed to mention this. You got, so this is a mixed proportion for trial number 1. You got the seventh value. We have the fly ash. It need not be always fly ash, and you need not always use these things also. Okay, like you need not use mineral admixtures always. You can skip this. So cement, fly ash, then water. You have it fine aggregate in SSD condition, coarse aggregate in SSD condition. All these things are in kg. Okay, then free water cement ratio. This is in proportion. This is how you need to record. Step 8. Step 9 is corrections for site conditions. This is very important. See, remember here, while using fine aggregate and coarse aggregate, while arriving this proportion, we assume that fine and coarse aggregate are in SSD condition, that is surface saturated dry condition. Okay, it is surface saturated dry condition, but aggregates need not always be in a SSD condition. Then we have to make those necessary adjustments. I think, yeah, with this sketch, I will try to show you what is SSD condition is. Like bone dry or oven dry, it has cavities, the aggregate has cavities. All the cavities are empty here. This is a bone dry or oven dry condition of the aggregate. In some cases, cavities will be filled with the water, but the outer periphery is not being we don't have any surface water there. That is air dry condition. Okay, air dry condition. What happens here is your aggregate has capability to absorb the water here still, because this surface is dry, it can absorb the water. In SSD condition, all the cavities of the pores are being filled and even your surface is wet. This is SSD condition. It is ideal condition. Your surface is saturated and your aggregate is dry. That is saturated and surface dry condition. This is an ideal condition. Okay. This is air dry condition. And then comes the moist condition. Now I have excess water in the aggregate. It is moist. You can feel the aggregate. If you keep the aggregate in the hand, the moist will, you can feel that moisture in the aggregate. That is moisture condition. So what you have to do is, if your aggregate is in air dry condition, it means your aggregate has a capacity to absorb the water. The water you are adding to the mixed proportion, some amount of water will be absorbed by the aggregate here, and this water is not released for the hydration. So if your aggregate is in air dry condition, then you have to add extra water. How much you will know it? In the problem you may understand this. In SSD, you don't apply any correction. If it is moist, then what you have to do? Of course, you have to reduce or you have to subtract the water. So these corrections, what you make, if your aggregate is not in SSD condition, that is called as site corrections or field corrections. Okay, so you have to apply these field corrections and then you should give the mix design. So once you have done all this, you should make a record of like this: cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and water. For 50 kg of the cement, how much is fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and then water? Divide it everything by this number, you will get proportion, say 1 is to 1.5 is to 2, something of that sort, you will get the proportion. Now what you have to do is, you have this trial 1, mix proportion, cast the trial 1 mix proportion, note down the slump value, and make the cubes for to test it for the compressive strength. If your slump is not achieved, then you can go with the trial 2 and trial 3 here. Yeah. After trial 1, you can go with further 2 to 3 trials by changing your water cement ratio by 10%, and you need to note the record of slump and the compressive strength values. Okay. After achieving all these values from trial 1, 2, 3, 4, then you should give your mixed proportion. Okay. Once you have got all this, then you should report the mixed proportion as this is mixed proportions after adjustments for wet aggregates. So cement, flash, water, fine aggregate in wet condition, coarse aggregate in wet condition, and then chemical admixtures, and then cementitious materials, water to cementitious materials. So this is going to report it, and report shall consist of period of testing, details of work type or type of structure, all the data provided for the mixed design, relevant test data of different materials like your grade A sieve analysis of coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, specific gravity value we require. We require moisture content or the water absorption. Okay, those values are supposed to. They should also be recorded here. Details of brand of cement, manufacturing date. Okay, of course, cement details, everything is supposed to be recorded. Details of the trials conducted should be recorded, and the recommended mix proportion shall be given. So this is I'm going to conclude as like concrete mix design is very much necessary to achieve economic way, to achieve economically, and to make my concrete sustainable. Concrete mix design is necessary. Though I have not talked about sustainability, but it's required so. After practicing, it becomes an art rather than the science. Okay. Initially, you may have to go through all these calculations, but if you become expert, after practicing with a lot, you can give your mixed proportion directly. But I don't prefer in that way. But that's a human tendency, or that's an expertise how we should be in a complete mixed proportion to achieve. And in mixed proportioning, importance is given to durability, make necessary field corrections to achieve the required mixed proportion. Questions you can always comment in the comment box, or else you can WhatsApp me. Okay, thank you.